at the Greenwood MFRC as a program associate. I'm a military spouse, mom of 2 young boys, as you'll see in my picture there. And when I'm not chasing after my kids, I can usually be found running with my friends. Being posted is an inevitable reality for so many military families. Building a support network and bank of resources can be really difficult. Today we're going to explore the mental health resources that are universal to all CAF bases and wings, and more importantly, how to access them. I encourage you to use the chat feature or your microphone during today's session, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. I'd like to take a minute to introduce you to my assistant for the day, my Van White, if you will, Miss Joanna Church. Joanna will be helping me facilitate and troubleshoot when needed. Thank you so much, Joanna. There's no doubt I could not do this without you today.
You're welcome.
And I just realized that your last name is Church, and you're a preacher's kid.
That's right.
So is your, wait, no, that's your married name, correct?
No, it's my maiden name.
Oh my goodness! Tell me that your parents' name is like Reverend Church.
Oh yeah, and
oh my gosh!
And everybody, the great thing is that we drove a conversion van growing up, and we had a big family, so that was the church bus.
That is cute. I just really had a light bulb moment after knowing you for a couple months. That's funny. Alrighty, so let's have a look at our agenda for today. First, we're going to touch on a few housekeeping items. Then we'll take a few minutes to learn about the WebEx tools that we're going to use over the next hour. Next, we'll do a fun little icebreaker, don't panic, just to learn a little bit about each other and practice the tools that we just learned. Then we're going to dive right into the core of today's session. We'll do a mental health check-in for ourselves. Next is building our toolkit, learning about those great resources that we have at our fingertips. And lastly, we'll have a wrap-up discussion and time for questions. So if there are no questions, we're going to jump right in. Okay, housekeeping. And as you'll note, I found a picture of a man doing housework. I know it's an urban legend, but when I saw the picture, I thought, I'm going to use that. I'll break some stereotypes. We ask you kindly turn off your email or other distractions for today's session. Again, strongly encourage participation via your chat or microphone. If you must step away, please use the coffee cup emoji located above the chat feature in the emoji drop-down menu. I'll show you about that in just a minute. There will be an evaluation form after today's session, so please take the time to offer your feedback and suggestions. And most importantly, bring your sense of humor and just enjoy yourself. Let's have some fun. Okay, the participants panel. If you look to the top right-hand side of your screen, you should see the participants panel. In this panel, you'll find the name of each participant. We have put a picture of the participants panel on the whiteboard just for demonstration purposes. It's here that you can mute and unmute by clicking the microphone next to your name. We use the mute to minimize background noise. When you have muted your microphone, you will see an X on the headset next to your name. So everyone just give it a try for me. Perfect. Unmuted and then mute again. You mute again for me there, Kay and Sarah. There we go. Perfect. We kindly ask that you keep yourself muted until you'd like to speak. That way we don't have a lot of background noise coming in from each computer. The chat. Beneath the participants panel in the lower right corner of the screen, you'll see the chat feature, which some of us have tried out already. It works much like instant messaging. You can select all participants from the drop-down menu, which allows everyone, including the presenters and participants, to see your chat. You can also send a private chat by selecting any of the participants or host. If you're using the private chat feature, just beware of what you're saying in case you accidentally send the message to all participants. For today's purposes, we ask that you keep your chat selected to all participants. So to test, we have all figured out the chat function. I ask you to tell me in the chat feature if you have any pets, and if so, what are they? No pets, Erica. Right. see, Erica's not a pet fan, if memory serves me correctly. Mary's got a dog, a Labradoodle. Let's see, Joanna, 1 dog and 2 cats plus an outside stray. Every girl I bring. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, okay. Well, Leanna, what is a flame point Siamese? How does that differ from a regular Siamese?
I literally just shoved a cracker into my mouth. A flame point Siamese they're not the traditional dark Siamese, so they got a lot more white, and then they have some orange and gray in their tips, and they can often have a ringtail. But so she's kind of weird. That's why I put she's like a rat or a dog sometimes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's funny. And Sarah, a Berndoodle. Tell me that's not a mix between a Bernese and oh my goodness, no way. I didn't realize that Jax was, so a Burmese mountain dog mixed with retriever and a poodle. That's a whole lot of mixing going on in there.
We should make people show pictures of all these animals.
I agree. I agree. That is so cool. I love Burmese mountain dogs. That's so amazing.
No pictures.
Erica's not a fan of the pets. That is true, Sarah. We would all fall in love. Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at the next set of tools. Our communication tools. At the bottom of the participants panel is a menu bar with pictures of tools. Again, we've put a picture of what this looks like on the whiteboard to demonstrate. Thank you, Vanna. Each picture is a toggle, so you can push it once to activate it and push it again to clear it. For example, to raise your hand, you need to click on the toggle of the picture of the hand. Let's try that. Everyone raise your hand. There we go. And Sarah. Perfect. Great. You always want to lower your virtual hand, especially if you've asked your question already. Then I won't call upon you to ask another question. Next to the hand toggle, you will find a green check and a red X. We use these tools to ask the participants yes or no questions during our session. Let's try it out. Do you love winter? Give me a green check. If you think winter is yucky and glad it's almost over or over, give me a red X. Oh, there's more. I like that. We got some green checks. So, Kay, red X, you're glad winter's over?
Absolutely.
I guess when you're faced with 100 centimeters of snow, I can see why you don't quite love the weather. And Sarah, tell me what it is that you love about winter.
Less ticks and less spiders.
Yeah, I had a funny feeling you might say something about ticks. I know you hate the ticks, but you're right. Yes, for sure, absolutely. Okay. At the end of this menu bar, you'll see the happy face. This is the emoji tool. Beside the happy face, you will see the black drop-down arrow. If you click on this arrow, you will see all of our emoji options. Here you'll find that coffee cup that I spoke of earlier. Please use this if you need to step away from our session. Feel free to use any of the emojis as you see fit, and if you like. Good, good, awesome. Okay, next slide. So our whiteboard. Let me draw your attention to the top left-hand side of the screen. There should be a toolbar that looks like the picture that we've put on the screen. These are your whiteboard tools. Starting from the left, the big thick arrow is called a pointer. We use this if we want you to claim a space on the whiteboard. So let's try. Click on your pointer tool, then click on one of the squares to claim a spot. Oh, look at you guys go. Bam, bam, bam. They're doing the dance. Leanna and Joanna are dancing.
We just did it like 3 times.
Yeah. That's cute. I like it. Who are we missing? Anyone? No?
Sarah.
Ah, Sarah.
Were you able to find it, Sarah?
No.
So this is just a picture here on the screen to show you way up, look way up at the top of your, I can't point to it, that's why I've got a picture here, but if you follow these arrows up with your eyes and you'll see that the actual toolbar. And then just look for that, the arrow pointing to the right, and then click on it, and then click your mouse anywhere on the screen. There you go.
There you go. There we go. We got the space. Okay. Looking back up to your whiteboard toolbar, to the right of the pointer icon is the letter T. This is your text tool. Once you've written with the text tool, you just have to remember to click away somewhere else on your screen so that everyone can see what you've written. We also have the line tool, the box tool, the pen tool, and the eraser tool. Take a moment and using your text tool, write your name in the square you previously selected. Just so we can try out the text tool. And then don't forget to click away when you're done. Let me see if I can, here. I'll try to multitask. There we go. We've got Kay and Sarah.
So Mary, if you can see, it's sort of hard to see because the color is sort of the same color. So you can change your color by going up to the toolbar. There's a little box that's got a color in it. And if you click on the drop-down arrow to the right, it'll give you a selection of darker colors you can use. So then once you select the darker color, come back, click on your text tool, and then you can write it again. There you go.
Perfect. That looks better. Awesome. And we've got everybody got it all figured out. So now we've got the text tool figured out. All right, let's try out our tools that we just learned and find out a little bit about each other. Using your pointer tool, grab a space on the whiteboard. Then using your text tool, tell us where you were born and one thing that you do for self-care. So I'll give you guys a minute, and just remember not to click away once you're finished typing. I'll come in up here. Oh, we got a room full of newbies today. I love it. It warms my heart.
I put info on Mary first and Margaret second.
Yes, yeah. Perfect. So Mary's kind of playing the role for two of them this morning. That's good. Ah, Sarah, I didn't know you were born in Toronto. There you go. And just, like I said, don't forget to click away when you're finished typing. Oh, scrapbooking. Sarah, you still scrapbook? You like that?
Yeah, it's therapeutic for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. You know, Marg used to scrapbook quite a bit, I do believe, if I've heard correctly.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome. Her choose quite the queen. So if you've written your answers for your self-care, don't forget to click away. So I'm not seeing, there we go. So I think we've got everybody. So we've got Reed. I'm surprised, Kay, that you like to read. You're working on your master's. I figure you'd be doing all kinds of reading.
Some things you read without a highlighter.
There you go. That's very, very true. That's such a good way to look at it. And Sarah, what kind of things do you scrapbook about, like in particular?
My life. So I've had my same scrapbook since I was a kid, and I just keep adding to it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'd love to see that. That must be so cool.
Maybe a show and tell one day.
I like that. We definitely have to do that. Erica, yoga. Do you partake in yoga in classes, or do you do it at home?
I do a once a week when I can get to it yoga class in my neighborhood, and I started out in the old ladies yoga class, which I loved, but then I got a job and I couldn't go. So now I'm in another class which is almost as equally fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know that about you. That's awesome.
I know you can start at any age.
Absolutely. I went to a gentle yoga one night here, and I thought, oh, look, everyone here is gray haired. This should be easy. No, I was jelly legged walking out of it. I was quite humbled by the time I walked out of it. Leanna, an evening jog. Now, I had to take the moment to say, don't call it a jog. It's a run. It's just a runner in me.
Well, it's intermittent running, so that's why I call it a jog.
Well, I have been beaten by speed walkers in races, so maybe I should call it jogging too. Yeah, and then we've got walk, read. That's awesome. A lot of this similar self-care things. And look at all the places that we were born. We've got Port aux Basques, which for some people don't know, that's in Newfoundland. Sarah, didn't know you were born in Toronto. That's pretty cool. And we've got Erica for West Pubnico, which is Nova Scotia. Leanna was born in Kentville. So we've got Mary born in Stephenville, actually not far from Port aux Basques. And then we've got Marg born in Burgeo, again, not far from there. What a connection between people. And I have actually put down that I was born in Halifax. I don't tell many people that because everyone thinks I'm a true Newfie, but alas, I am not. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. That was fun. Good to learn a few new things about you guys. Okay, moving on. Health, including mental health, is not an all or nothing concept. You're not either sick or healthy. Rather, health exists along a continuum. The mental health continuum model goes from healthy, which is adaptive and coping, are green, through mild and reversible distress or functional impairment, the yellow, to more severe persistent injury or impairment, which is our orange, to clinical illnesses and disorders requiring more concentrated medical care, which is over in the red. The arrows under the 4 color blocks denote the fact that this is the continuum with movement in both directions, indicating that there is always the possibility for a return to full health and functioning. Throughout life, many of us will find ourselves moving in and out of the yellow reacting zone of the continuum. This is a normal reaction to stressful situations. It's important to monitor our mental health and watch for signs that we might be moving further along the continuum in the orange or red zones so that you can get the extra support required to return to green. Take a moment to become aware where you might be located currently along the scale. Okay.
Depends on the day, Michelle.
Yeah. Let's see. It's only Tuesday. So what might be a few indicators that someone is moving to the right along the continuum? Raise your hand if you'd like to share, or use the chat feature to tell us. I'll give one example. If someone is a negative attitude, whereas maybe they don't normally have a negative attitude. Erica.
So sleep is a big indicator, and it can go both ways. So if you're normally a good sleeper and you start not sleeping well, or if normally you're just a regular sleeper and you start sleeping all the time.
That is so, you know what? I never really thought about that. That's so true. That's a really good example. Leanna, how about you?
You might notice that someone who's normally very outgoing and bubbly and talkative starts to become more withdrawn and avoids talking with people.
Very good. Yes, that's right. Mary put in the chat, impatient when normally not that way. Absolutely. Big indicator for when someone's moving along the line. And Sarah.
I'd like to add environmental stress. We all have things that come and go from our life, and that can definitely dictate where our mental health scale is.
Absolutely. Very good. Erica, I don't know if you Did you want to speak again, or did you just leave your hand up? Erica? No? Okay. Ah, perfect. Okay. And Joanna writes, I get irritable. You know, I can relate to the sleep aspect of it. When I tend to move more towards the right of the scale, I actually sleep more. Where I know some people, when they get stressed, they sleep less. I actually sleep more. I never really thought about that, actually, I think. Yeah, so like we said, irritable, sad, overwhelmed. Some people can get angry. We mentioned withdrawal, anxiety, panic. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that we can note from ourselves or from others. Okay, now that we've had a look at our mental health, let's move along to our toolkit. Let's take a close look at our resources that can be found at each base, whether it's Comox or St. John's or anywhere in between. First, there are our in-house resources. These are the physical places that you can walk into and talk face-to-face with someone. Next are the online services. Here you're going to find educational resources and also services that offer a bit more of anonymity, if you will. Third, we have our telephone support services. Here you're going to find a lot of 24-hour resources that we can depend on in case of an immediate crisis or after our needs. Lastly, we're going to touch on peer support resources. Using your pointer tool that you learned about a little while ago, indicate which of the 4 resources you think you would be more inclined to use. Personally, I lean more towards the in-house, face-to-face kind of resources. We got, okay, in-house, we've got some peer support. Peer support, that's awesome, very good. Awesome, thanks guys. Okay, right into our, sorry, skipped a slide, right into our in-house resources. Many people prefer to have a face-to-face interaction to make them feel at ease or a more personable feel. So let's say you've just moved to a new location, fresh off the boat, as they might say. You don't know anyone, you don't have the support net you were used to in your previous posting or where you lived. Where do you turn? So first, we've got our Military Family Resource Centers, our MFRCs. They have mental health programs and services. There are 32 MFRCs across the country, and although programming and services may vary center to center, they all will have a mental health team that is available and continuously offering specialized programs and services relating to our mental health. Number 2, we have our Family Liaison Officer. This is a civilian employee, not military officer like the title may lead us to believe, that works for the MFRC to give support for families coping with an illness, injury, death, or special need. They offer a short-term intervention for family or group counseling, a great tool to help bridge the military world to civilian life. And today we're actually lucky enough to have a Family Liaison Officer sitting in with us, and that is Erica. Absolutely, very important and appreciated, Erica. You're such an integral part to the MFRC and our mental health services. Let's check out number 3, Canadian Forces Health Services. This is the main provider of mental health services for our CAF. Excuse me, located on base at the medical clinic, as we call it, the MIR. Although they primarily serve the military members, however, it does include the family or those clinical, for those clinical activities that are in direct support of the CAF members' care or treatment. For example, couples counseling. And number 4, we've got our Canadian Armed Forces Chaplains, aka the Padres. They're primarily for our CAF members. However, family members are included when necessary. It's important to note that it isn't solely religious or spiritual needs. Some chaplains also have a mental health background, and they can provide some counseling or referrals. Chaplains are on call 24/7, and they are multi-faith based. I just wanted to mention that all of these services are confidential and are not obligated to inform the chain of command. So it's a safe place to go. Let's have a see. In our chat, we've got from Erica. We also have a PSI, Prevention, Support, and Intervention Coordinator. Absolutely. Works closely with our flow. My husband and I worked with a really great social worker in Halifax when we were first married through the CAF Health Services. Joanna, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was new to Canada and being married to somebody in the military, and it was, you know, I didn't know at the time, I didn't know anything about MFRCs, and you know how sometimes the members don't really tell you about the MFRCs. So, I mean, I'm new to Canada, new to Halifax, new to being married to a military member, and yeah, and so somebody had recommended one of the social workers through the Canadian Forces Health Services, not through the MFRC actually, and really great social worker who really helped my husband and I our first year of marriage. So really, I thought it was really excellent, and I know there's always that little bit of a stigma, like people feel like if they go to somebody in the CF Health Forces that somehow it's going to get back to their chain of command or anything, and not at all. It was really very confidential and a really good experience.
Oh, that's awesome, Joanne. That's perfect. That's so good to hear stories like that. Okay, so there's our in-house resources. Let's move along to our online services. Online mental health resources can be a useful tool when looking for educational pieces, not one-on-one counseling. Here we have two services that apply to our military lives. First, we have our Personnel Support Programs, or PSP. Now, many people, when they hear PSP, they think strictly recreation, the gym, that kind of thing. But they offer so much more. One online service that they offer is dfit.ca, and I put a little picture of what the website looks like down there on the bottom. It offers personal trainer services and nutritional resources. And now they do it for families and veterans as well as the members. So, yeah. Physical fitness and health is a key component to staying left on the mental health continuum we looked at earlier. Another service PSP offers is the Health Promotions Program. This focuses on prevention and awareness of well-being. Give me a green check if you think you would use online resources for nutritional wellness. A couple green checks. Can I do it? Yeah, I think I can. Awesome. You know, when I lost 40 pounds a couple years ago, and when I was doing that, I used online resources for my nutritional things so much. It was the biggest help. You know, the more you learn, the more you know, and the better educated. So, absolutely. And I didn't know before doing my research that dfit.ca was now available for families and veterans. So that's kind of cool. Number two is Sun Life. When you think mental health support, our brains don't automatically go to our insurance provider, but knowing what is available for you to tap into can really assist you in using all available avenues. For example, families of CAF members are eligible for up to $2,000 per calendar year for psychologists. It does require a physician's referral, but you know, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that we have that there at our ready and available. Anyone have any comments or anything before we move slides? Just raise your hand or comment. New smoothie recipes and ways of helping my stomach and skin. Oh, Sarah, I love that. That's such a good idea. It's true. When you think about it, even Pinterest is a nutritional wellness piece. Erica.
I just wanted to say about Sun Life, because Tracy and I here have been dealing with them for a little bit. Sometimes it can get a bit confusing about if you're eligible or what for. Or it seems like it's straightforward on your slide, but sometimes it gets a bit complicated. But people can always ask us to help them with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And, you know, again, this is where you can tie some of your resources together. You know, use your family liaison officer or your prevention, support, and intervention to help you guide you through the Sun Life resource. Perfect. Thank you, Erica. Okay, telephone support resources. Let's go back for a second. Picture, we've just moved to our new posting. We don't know where anything is or maybe don't even have internet hooked up at home yet. I know when I moved here, I was 3 weeks, I think, without internet. Oh, the horror. No, I'm just kidding. Well, for the majority of the population, the one thing that we have with us all the time is our cell phone, except for Leanna. This makes the phone resources easily accessible, and most offer around-the-clock service. First, we have the Family Information Line. This is probably the #1 resource that you're going to see the most and at the forefront. It offers around-the-clock counseling. The professionals who you will be connected with are very well versed on CAF communities and services available. These are, pretty much this is the number that you're going to see everywhere, whether if your Nfrc is closed or anything like that. This is where we put this number. Great tool. Should really put it in your phone and have it there just in case, because you just never know when it's going to be needed. #2, we've got our Canadian Forces Member Assistance Program, which you will most likely hear called CIFMAP. And this is confidential, 24/7 line to help with well-being and work performance concerns. This service is free and focuses on short-term counseling. CIFMAP oftentimes will refer to the local community if necessary. Just for an example, let's say you're looking for counseling, but it needs to be in the evenings or weekends, and you're not sure where to turn. CIFMAP can give you a list of civilian counselors that will meet your needs. And no cost, which obviously, is great. Yes, agreed, Erica. Very important that we note that it's bilingual. As we know, the military we have so much with French and English and all across the country, and it's nice for you guys that speak French to have the comfort of knowing that you can reach someone that also speaks your language. #3, Veterans Affairs Canada Assistance Line. That's a bit of a mouthful. So it's a confidential 24/7 line for veterans, their families, or caregivers. Professional counselors through the Employee Assistance Services of Health Canada. For example, nowadays, many working families have veteran parents that live in. This can prove to be a challenge atop of the normal stressors of military life. Veterans Affairs Assistance Line is there to support you through this journey. And, you hear more and more now of people that have the live-in, in-laws or family of themselves. Actually, Joanna, am I right in saying that you have someone that lives in?
Yes. Well, they're not. It's not a veteran. He's not a veteran.
Yeah.
But my in-laws moved in with us this past week. Or not week, sorry, year,
yeah.
summer.
Yeah, and it seems like it's more common now. I mean, it's a great thing that we're taking care of our aging population, but, I think it's important that we mention, that our veterans, it's not just while you're serving after as well. So that's our telephone support. Okay, so let's move along. So we have our peer support resources. This is the one that a lot of you kind of pointed to that you tend to go to first. Meeting new people can be one of the most daunting parts of settling into a new community. Your peer support is a very important aspect of your mental wellness. Here are a few places that you can find peer support resources. Social media platforms. So many communities and bases are now online. Many have groups and pages specifically for military spouses. These can be great places to seek support or advice from others in your situation. These can also be great for those moments right after receiving a posting message. We're posted to Saint Jean de Richelieu, I don't know anybody. You go to Facebook, you find their Facebook groups or things like that, and it makes you feel connected. Reach out to these groups before you move. That way, when you get there, you'll feel a little bit connected already. I do want to caution that social media should not be used to diagnose or treat any type of mental health concerns. This is strictly for peer support. Does anybody give me a green check if you follow any, you know, of your local base Facebook groups or military spouse groups or anything like that? Oh yeah, we've got a few that follow on Facebook. I know I do. You know, I'm still a part of these groups. Even after I moved, I'm still connected kind of to Esquimalt, and since we moved from there. Joanna says local groups have been instrumental with each move, especially here in Quebec. Absolutely. Erica, social media can be a double-edged sword. Absolutely, 100%. You know, sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the negativity of it. But you know, when you're looking for like-minded people, people that are in similar situations, this can be really good. Sarah says Instagram for veterans, not so much Facebook. Sarah, do you mind if I ask you a little bit what you mean there?
Yeah, of course. I do find that some of the social supports over Facebook can become very negative very quickly. Yep. I do see the resource there for sure. But I find that I know Veterans Affairs and some other veteran spouses have social groups, but on Instagram there's only positive images and messages. And I find that very welcoming. I usually look at that at least once a day just to see what's being offered out there, just for, you know, inspirational quotes and being supportive with visuals.
Oh, that's awesome. That's not something that I realized, and you know, I've used Instagram, but not a lot, and especially I don't really know follow any of these places. I'm going to have to check that out. I think that's interesting. Thank you for sharing. Number 2, our Nfrc drop-in programs. All MFRCs are different, but they all offer drop-in programs in one form or another. If you sign up to receive the newsletter or drop into the center and speak to the front desk, you can easily find out about some of these programs that they have. For example, here at our local MFRC, we have a Franco coffee. We have such a strong French community here, and our Franco coffee is offered on Wednesday mornings, and they meet and they have such a tight-knit group. And it must be so nice, you know, I had mentioned earlier while we were waiting to begin about going to St. Jean. I just can't imagine going into a place where barely anyone speaks my language. So I feel that must be how they feel when they move here from Quebec. So having the Franco coffee is such a nice thing to be able to offer them. And agreed, Leanna, such a big group some days. Next, we have our Friendly Fridays. This is a broad, just drop-in coffee morning. No kind of particular, you know, kids, no kids, spouse, no spouse. It's just Friendly Fridays. It is exactly that. It's just drop in and have a coffee, and that's about it. And our parent and taught programs. And most of our MFRCs, I dare say all of them, have some form or another of a parent and taught program, whether it be in their gym or in a room designated for the children, things like that. And you can really gain such great peer support from these parent and taught groups. Number 3, so our Psp Recreation Clubs. These clubs are great for both physical activity as well as peer support. And, you know, some of these groups, I mean, so we've got the sports, so your soccer, your skating, archery, pickleball. I never even heard of pickleball until I came here and got to know it through this Psp Recreation Club. I know here on our base, there's a radio club, and they meet once a week. They're actually probably a lot of veterans and aging members that meet for the radio club, and they've got the old ham radios and stuff. Just cracks me right up. They love it. They're right into it. Also motorcycle clubs, things like that. Like, there are so many of these through the Psp Recreation that I never realized. Joanna says, what in the world is pickleball? Now, sports are the best, can be so much fun and therapeutic. Agreed. Does anybody here play pickleball? Give me a green check if you do, or know anything about pickleball. Oh, do I have my, yeah.
Just have to Google it.
You're Googling in the background. That's funny. So pickleball, if someone correct me if I'm wrong, but pickleball is a lot like badminton, but it's played with more of like a tennis racket. And yeah, there's no pickles involved, believe it or not. There's no like pickle-shaped ball. I'm very literal, but I couldn't believe when I found out about it. And we actually have a lot of people here that play pickleball.
And Michelle, I think the ball is kind of big, isn't it?
It is. It's bigger than, it's not like a badminton birdie. It's not like it's a bigger ball. So it's kind of like badminton, tennis, something in there mixed together. But yes, and there's a lot of younger and older people that play pickleball here.
I put a picture up there if you click on the tab up at the top that says download.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's all learn together. So if we look up right above where our whiteboard toolbar, we see download. Oh, look at these people playing pickleball. Can we see it? Can you guys see the picture of pickleball? Give me a green check.
So it's like tennis, but with small paddles.
Yeah, they're kind of like a paddle.
Okay.
And
you were hoping there was pickles. That's funny, Leanna.
That is funny. It can be smashing pickles in the gym there.
Well, I was hoping maybe just as like a break, snack time or something.
I feel like we should sign up and go and then be very disappointed and angered when there's no pickles involved. But for me, I worked for PSP for just under a year for the recreation program before I came to work at the Nfrc. And when I had first saw pickleball, one thing that really stood out for me was there was a lot of younger members and then a lot of older members. So a lot of times what you see is kind of groups of either all young or all older or all veterans. The pickleball really showed me a mix of it. And again, and their archery club, I was amazed at the array of different people with the archery clubs. Sarah says, next Wellness Day, let's play pickleball. Sarah, that's a great idea. What an awesome idea. We can all learn a new sport together. Anyone else have any other clubs that maybe they belong to here locally that we might not think about? Actually, if you don't mind, Mary, I believe you have a club that you are belong to here on base?
Do you mean the curling club?
Yeah.
The place I live all my winters?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's here on base, is that correct?
It is here on base. They have a great curling here.
And is it for military members and civilians?
Yes, military members, family members, community members.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And multiple, everything from youth to whatever.
Is there like I just want to be here to have fun kind of?
Pretty much all of the leagues.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it is. Great
so
people, really good curlers, but everybody's there to help everybody.
Awesome. That's really. How long have you been a member of the curling club here, Mary?
25 years.
Wow. Holy
now
smokes.
You make me sound old.
Sorry. It is longer than I thought. You must be a really good curler. And Erica says, not only clubs, but venues available, like the rink. Absolutely. So true. Yes, Erica says, go hard. We won't start the curling debate that we have here at the office. Funny story, I'll kind of, Kay, for if anybody missed it, is my mother. When she tried curling for the first time, she says, do I have to throw the rock? Can I just sweep? I'm a really good sweeper. All those years of sweeping the kitchen tend to pay off. But yeah, curling is super fun. That's awesome. Sarah says she'd love to join. That's great. And fourth, moving along a little bit here, we have the base mess halls and lounges. They often host events for members and spouses, and here's where you're most likely to meet your spouse, the military members, co-workers, and spouses. They have such different things. that TGI Fridays, our local base does. They have the big bingos. I couldn't believe the first time I attended one of their bingos. That's huge and no joke. They do open mic nights, but you know, there's also the dining hall, things like that. I personally don't use the mess very much, but I really wish that I did, actually, more than I do. Anyone here that goes to the mess very often, or particular events that they like to go to meet with their peers? Mary?
I find the mess here does a great job of doing all kinds of different things. I've been to wine and cheese tasting. I've been to dinner theaters.
Paint nights? They do paint nights?
I've been to paint nights at the mess, and they do amazing New Year's Eve balls at the mess here. So Greenwood does a great job. If anybody doesn't pay attention, it's one of those Facebook pages that's worth liking.
Oh, that's interesting. I should do that because I don't. And I really do wish that we used the mess more than we do. Leanna says she used to go to the dances. Leanna, the way she says that, it's like she's 100 years old. Leanna, so did they used to have like scheduled dances on the weekends, or?
Well, a lot of them were themed, like Halloween or St. Patrick's Day, things like that.
Oh. Right. Oh, that's all. And did they get like good crowds? And
yeah, they did. And a lot of there weren't, like, if it was a Halloween dance, there weren't too many people that were not in costume.
Yeah, that's right. That's such a good idea. And odds are, if you go to the mess with your husband for an event, they're gonna run into somebody from work, and
exactly,
they get chatting, and then okay, so you chat to that person, or so. I think that it's a good way to forget. Yes, Mary, don't forget Winter Carnival. Huge, absolutely, and the mess does that. Host that. Sarah, theme parties. I know, I do. I'm the same. I love theme parties. I'm a bit, not much for dinner theaters, but I enjoy the theme parties. Sorry, no one wants to see this lady dance unless it has been easily choreographed, and I have had weeks to practice. Not a dancer much, Joanna? Okay. The theme parties with our dogs in costumes. Sarah, you're full of ideas today. I'm absolutely loving it. That's awesome. That's great. What a lot of great peer support resources that we've touched on. So here I've listed all the resources that we've learned about today. Look at all the resources that we've just learned in a quick 50 minutes. We've got 9 just like that. The tools that we now have in our toolkit, if you will, at our ready shall the need arise. Being new to an area can be so scary and feel solitary. With these tools, it doesn't need to be. I will be sending all of these out in an after session email so that you have them, but I encourage you to mark them down, put numbers in your phone. Have a look at some of the websites, things like that, just so that you never know when you're going to need them. Okay, now that we've learned all of these great mental health resources that the Canadian Armed Forces offers universally, are there any questions, maybe a few comments on any of the things that we've learned? You can raise your hand, use the chat, write on the board if you like, however you feel comfortable. Would anyone like to point out something new they learned today, or maybe a service they didn't necessarily think about as it applies to mental health? Leanna.
I had heard of dfit.ca, but I was not aware that it was open to family members as well, so that's quite neat. I might have to check that out.
I know, kind of cool, right? I definitely want to try to explore it a little bit more than I have. I came across it during that. I hope it's good. Mary.
Using Instagram for getting information on Veterans Affairs. I thought that's
Yeah.
as I only ever think of Instagram as a place to go look at pictures or post pictures. I don't ever have it in my own head as that's a place I'm going to go and get information.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so,
Eric.
yeah, make you rethink it.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely something that I take away from today. Erica.
I love, Michelle, how you've listed like we traditionally think of as mental health services, but what we don't always think of, which you had a lot about, you know, the clubs and the sports and the people, and that is all part of us being mentally healthy. Sometimes we just forget that. We just think that mental health is for, you know, when you're down in the dumps or depressed or whatever, but I love that part of your presentation. Good job, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Erica. Thank you. Joanna.
Yeah, I just want to say like how important I think it is to even just be having the conversation about supports available, because I think the more we talk about like how many supports are out there and the different kinds of supports, and as Erica just said, like the fact that supports don't have to be counseling, or you know there's more, that there's a broader support system. I just think the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it, and the more we make it okay for not just family members but service members too, to have the conversation, the mental health conversation. And so I just think that this kind of information is really great just to get those conversations started.
Absolutely. And Kay wrote in the chat, as an extended family member, I was impressed when I visited Greenwood in the fall by the expo that highlighted what is available. Must be a great tool for newcomers. And the expo that she's speaking of is the Wing Welcome that we have expo over at the Fitness and Sports Center. And you're right, there's so many, as someone new coming in, whether you're going up to a table, Leanna says, is important for new families to help increase awareness of available community resources. Absolutely. It's like taking all of our resources and we jam them all in a room and say, here you go, welcome. Here's a bunch of things, you know, whether it be beavers or a hair salon, anything. We put so many things at this expo. And I think that it's important that we make our resources, we bring the resources to our people. Let's not make them necessarily come out looking for us. Let's make sure that they know where everything is. Anyone else? Feel free, pop in with anything or wanted to say. We've learned some really great things today. That's fantastic. Okay, if we got no more questions. Okay, if no more questions or comments, I just want to thank each of you for participating in today's session. I hope you take away some new knowledge and maybe you refreshed your memory on a few resources you might have known but kind of forgot about. I'd also like to thank you for stepping outside your comfort zone and participating in an online virtual classroom. I know it isn't easy, but once you're comfortable with the online classroom, the possibilities are absolutely endless. When you exit the WebEx session, you will be automatically redirected to a survey about today's session. Please take a minute to fill this out. Your feedback will help improve our future sessions. When you're ready, feel free to just close out your browser window and you'll be taken to your survey. But if anybody wants to hang around and chat, I'm here. And yeah.
Michelle, I just wanted to make one comment before everyone leaves. Michelle's presentation today was brought to you in partnership with True Patriot Love Foundation, who has sponsored the program How to Adapt a Live Presentation to a Virtual Audience, which Michelle is presenting. And so we just wanted to make sure that we include that as a reference to True Patriot Love, who funded this program along with several other programs. And so we want to thank them for that sponsorship.
Absolutely. And our session recording will be available when we're finished. If you know of anyone that you think might want to listen to it, we can absolutely make sure that they are available for that. And I will be sending out, like I said, the resources in an email afterwards. And feel free to email me with anything if you think of later on or anything like that. Sarah. a nice voice for sound. Thank you. I'm actually a journalism